And it's good Thursday afternoon. It is Thursday and it is noon, so it is afternoon. And my name is Ryan Belmore. I'm the owner and publisher of WhatsUpNewp. And just to get right to our conversation today, I'm going to bring everybody up here. We have Mr. Frank Prosnitz from the WhatsUpNewp team, as well as Rhode Island General Treasurer Seth Magaziner. And good afternoon, Seth.
Hello, guys. Good to be back. Thanks for having me.
This looks like winking, blinking, and nod. I'm not sure if that's correct, but.
My first question for the treasurer: are those all financial books behind you?
Yes, they're all spreadsheets. They all have lots of little numbers inside them, and yeah.
Go ahead, Frank.
So let's start off with what I think is really critical for a lot of people, and that's tax preparation.
Yeah.
We are, fortunately for people, we've had the extension out to May, but there's still a lot of people that still have to file their taxes and need help, and you're involved in trying to get them that.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, an important part of our mission in the Treasurer's Office is to help families become more financially secure. And this year in particular, because of the Recovery Act that was just signed into law by President Biden, many Rhode Islanders are going to be getting much larger tax refunds than they normally would get, because they've expanded the child tax credit, they've expanded the earned income tax credit, among others. So, for many Rhode Islanders, tax time is actually going to be a positive this year, because a lot of Rhode Islanders are going to be getting more money back. Now, the deadline, as you said, Frank, has been extended until May. But, for many Rhode Islanders, it might make sense to file before then, so that you can get those refunds and we can get that money, from the IRS back into Rhode Island, into the local economy. And one of the things that we've been promoting is the fact that for families that make less than $72,000, they can file their taxes for free under the IRS free file program. And then for families that make less than $58,000 a year, they can also qualify for free tax preparation. So basically getting help for free and filing their taxes at VITA sites around the state. If anyone is interested in learning more about how to access the free tax prep, they can go to our website, treasury.ri.gov, and we have the names and contact information of free tax preps locations all across the state.
You don't have any clue of how many people might qualify, or whether we have pockets of areas that, in fact, we have more people who might not have filed and might qualify. And is there any relationship between filing and the stimulus check?
Yeah, so that's a lot of questions. Let me try to take each of them one at a time. So a significant number of Rhode Islanders will qualify for the free file and the free tax prep. Possibly a majority of tax filers. So everybody should take a look again at treasury.ri.gov, where we have more information about what it takes to qualify for those free tax prep and free file services, and where you can get more information. As far as the stimulus goes, yes, in the bill that was just passed, once again, there were a number of changes that are going to be good for taxpayers. I mentioned already the larger tax credits for having children, and for earned income tax credit, among others. That means that you're more likely to get a big refund back from the IRS. They also made a number of types of income, including the stimulus checks, non-taxable. So you will not be taxed on that stimulus. If you're a business, PPP loans now are not taxable at the federal level, and at the state level, the first $150,000 of a PPP loan is also non-taxable. So it's always important to file your taxes, but this year it's especially important because of all of these new programs that were part of the federal stimulus legislation. That means that many Rhode Islanders, perhaps most Rhode Islanders, are going to be getting more money back.
The a part of some of the package and the things that you've presented to the General Assembly has to do with small business. Talk about some of that, and particularly one that strikes me as really important is when a small business owner, his business fails during the pandemic, that there is a safety net that helps them restart themselves.
Yeah, and thank you for the question. Small businesses are the heart of Rhode Island's economy and have obviously taken a very hard hit over the past year because of COVID and the social distancing requirements. So we need to do everything that we can as a state to help small businesses get back on their feet. I think what you're referring to is a few weeks ago, I presented a series of ideas to the House Small Business Committee, ideas for how we can help existing small businesses stay alive for the rest of the pandemic and make it easier for new small businesses to open. And there were several things that we presented. One, a very simple one is, there needs to be a single online state small business assistance center, which there isn't right now. If you go to other state economic development websites like Massachusetts and Connecticut, their websites, they have like manuals on how to start a business in Massachusetts, how to start a business in Connecticut. They have live people you can talk to who will help you navigate that process. We don't have anything like that in Rhode Island. We have some agencies with different resources, but they're kind of spread out. Different agencies have different information about different things. So that was one very simple idea that we presented, is just have one place where people can go to get all the answers and have an actual manual on how to start a business in Rhode Island, just like these other states have. Another idea, which is the one that you mentioned, Frank, was allowing Rhode Islanders who are on unemployment, who are unemployed, to keep their unemployment benefits for a while they are starting up a new business. This is something that many other states do. One of, I think, the real barriers for Rhode Islanders who have an idea and have the talent and the skill and the drive to start a new business is, in those first few early months, you need to figure out how to support yourself while you're just getting started. And that can be a real barrier for a lot of people who otherwise would be able to start great businesses. And so in a number of other states, they allow people to stay on unemployment, get unemployment benefits for the first few months that they're starting up a new business. And that reduces one of those barriers to having more people become entrepreneurs. It would be a simple thing for Rhode Island to do. We have the money in the state unemployment fund to do it. And so that's one of the several ideas that we presented to the House Small Business Committee, and I hope it happens.
Now, have they been crafted into legislation yet, or is that yet to be done?
Yeah, so we are working right now with a number of legislators, including the chair of the Small Business Committee, Representative McEntee, to turn these bills into these ideas into legislation, and we're hoping to have them introduced for consideration within the next week or two.
Treasurer, while we're on small businesses, what is one program or resource available through your office that you wish every small business owner knew about?
That's a great question. I'll give you two quick ones. One is a program that we started called Bank Local, where we have been moving millions of dollars of the state's cash that our office manages to local community banks and credit unions to support their small business lending. Because the research shows that small businesses are more likely to have their loan applications approved by local community banks and credit unions. So in order to support that small business lending here in Rhode Island, we've been moving millions of dollars of state's cash to local community banks and credit unions. You can go on our website, treasury.ri.gov, to see which local banks and credit unions are participating. I know there's a number in the Newport area that are participating, like People's Credit Union, for example. It's not a guarantee that they will approve your loan, but they're more likely to with this state support. So you can get a list of those banks and credit unions on treasury.ri.gov. The other one that I'll give you real quick is our unclaimed property program. Unclaimed property is like the state's lost and found system for money. We've got hundreds of thousands of Rhode Islanders who are missing money, and it is our job to reunite that money with its rightful owner. But a lot of people don't realize that it's not just individuals, but also businesses and nonprofits that can have missing money in the unclaimed property system. So we launched a campaign a couple months ago to reunite 1,000 Rhode Island small businesses with their missing money. We've been going all over the state doing this, going to, reunite restaurants and hair salons and nonprofit organizations with their missing money. Once again, if you go to the treasury.ri.gov, search not only your own name, but also the name of your business or your nonprofit organization, because we may have hundreds or thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars that we can get back to you in a quick, seamless way.
There is, it's a good time to pop this in. We got a question in advance from one of our readers, viewers. He asked this. Would you ask Seth about unclaimed money held by the state? My parents died 30 plus years ago and left $76 in an account. I would have to spend $60 for 2 death certificates to claim the money. If it's impractical for citizens to claim the money, the state should claim it and stop pretending it's available.
Yeah, no, it's a good question, and it's one that we get a lot. For most people who have unclaimed property, there is little or no paperwork involved to claim it. You just go on our website, you enter some information, you push a button, and that's it. We do need to collect some more paperwork if you're claiming unclaimed property on behalf of a deceased family member. And the reason for that is, frankly, it gets more complicated when, you might have families where siblings are, arguing over who the money should go to and that sort of thing. So it does require a little more paperwork so that we know that the person is deceased and we know who the rightful heir is. So I get the point that the viewer is making, that, if you need to pay, some money to get the death certificate and other paperwork, and it's not that much unclaimed property, is it even worth it? I get that, and it's a fair point, but I do think it's important, especially in this era where we're also concerned with privacy and protecting against identity theft. It is important that we have that little bit of extra documentation when you're trying to claim property that had originally belonged to someone else. So we try to strike the right balance, but for most people, they will not need to do any of that. For most people, it is a very streamlined system that involves little or no paperwork at all.
What kind of time frame from when somebody puts in a claim to when they would receive it?
For most people, it's within 6 weeks. Again, unless it's a complex situation like a child claiming for a parent or something like that. For most people, it's 4 to 6 weeks.
And Treasurer, we have, before we move on to our next topic, we have another question. And I just want to make sure I point this person in the right direction. On the website, Treasury Now, where would one find the tax prep info? I'm on the site now. Yep. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's in the top right-hand corner and it says volunteer income tax assistance.
That's exactly right. Yep.
All right. And I will just bring that up to show everybody very quickly. And here it is, and it's right here in this top right-hand corner is where you can see the volunteer income tax assistance sites in Rhode Island is where you can find that.
Seth, how hard has Rhode Island been hit? How many small businesses have we lost during the pandemic?
It's been devastating. By some estimates, as many as 40% of Rhode Island small businesses shut down within the last year. And that's why it's so important, not only that we help those remaining small businesses stay alive, but that we also make it as easy as possible for Rhode Islanders to start new small businesses, because that's such an important part of our culture and our fabric as a state. So we've talked already about expanding unemployment insurance to help entrepreneurs. We've talked about having a small business resource center like other states have. Another idea that we're pushing is penalty-free delays in sales tax payments until social distancing guidelines are lifted. I don't think that restaurants and retailers that are struggling right now should need to remove their monthly sales tax to the state until social distancing guidelines have been lifted. This is one of those all-in moments where we have to all do everything that we can to support local small businesses, and that's why we're advancing some very specific, tangible ideas of things that the state can do to help.
Treasurer, I know you are a busy man today. Just wanted to wrap up quickly. Can you tell us about the Frontline Heroes Fund?
Yeah, thank you. And thank you again, Ryan and Frank, for having me. Frontline Heroes, we just passed the 1-year anniversary of COVID coming to Rhode Island. And, it's been a challenging time. We've lost a lot of people. And throughout this past year, it's the frontline workers who have put their own health and safety at risk in order to keep our state running. And unfortunately, some of those frontline workers didn't make it. They got sick and they passed from COVID. So the Frontline Heroes Fund is a scholarship fund. We will give a $2,500 scholarship, college-bound saver scholarship, to the children of deceased frontline workers who passed from COVID-19. And I think this is just a way for us as a state to come together. We're a small state, but we look out for each other. And so if you or you think you know anyone who is eligible, again, the child of a frontline worker who passed from COVID, they can go back to our website, treasury.ri.gov, and we will get that $2,500 to that child. And I thank you both again. I apologize I have to jump, but thank you for the opportunity to join and talk about these initiatives. And thank you for all the work that you've done all year to keep people informed as we get through this crisis together. I appreciate everything you guys are doing, and thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And hopefully next month we can talk about financial literacy.
Yeah, April's Financial Literacy Month, my favorite month of the year. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, Frank, and the website for all those programs as well as opportunities, treasury.ri.gov, scrolling right there at the bottom. So a great conversation was had, and if anybody missed any portion of this, you can go back and watch it on our website or on our Facebook page now. And after this, all right, Mr. President, thank you very much.
Well, thank you. And we will catch up soon.
We will see you soon. We're going on almost a year of not actually seeing each other in person.
Yeah.
So
this is not really me. This is just a different face. I put it up on the screen.
There you go. All right, Mr. President. Till next time.
Take care.
And on behalf of Frank Prosnitz as well as myself, I want to thank General Treasurer Seth Magaziner for joining us today. Treasury.ri.gov for all of the latest on those programs and opportunities. We thank him for his time. We look forward to having him join us again in April.